Alright folks, I'm just going to try to show you a couple of things on this online circuit builder. Some of it's pretty self-explanatory, but there's a couple of potentially smaller glitches and things that people seem to have trouble with as they're constructing circuits. So I'll kind of try to show you a few of those. So the first thing is, if you guys want to use any of these items on the left hand side, such as wire, battery, light bulb, resistors, and switches, you literally just take them and drag them right off the board over here and put them on the screen. You can adjust the voltage of the batteries, but if you just click on the battery and you go to the bottom, you can adjust the voltage. We're going to leave everything at 9 volts, so don't mess with that part of it. We just want to make sure that they're always the same. So as you add batteries and so forth, they are all the same. So if you have one, it's going to be 9 volts, and two of them together here will give you 18. You can see there's little circles when you add devices or subtract devices. You got to make sure that those circles are making contact in order for them to be counted as connected. And some of these circuits, when you build them, get a little confusing, especially as to where the light bulbs go and how they're connected. So I'm going to build like a parallel circuit, and I'll show you one of the most common mistakes that people make. So the light bulb itself, again, it has two circles on it, and they're not really, you could tip it sideways so that these circles are aligned a little bit better. But when you build a parallel circuit, when you connect this, in order for it to be parallel, you have to make sure that the electricity doesn't run through the light bulb when you put the second bulb on. So for example, if I'm connecting the wire there, if we look closely, I got to make sure that it's tilted something like this. So on the one side of the battery, the electricity isn't going all the way through the light bulb quite yet. We want to make sure it gives it multiple paths for it to flow through, such as this, and then we can kind of close off the other sides. Some of the ways to check to make sure everything's fully connected is make sure all the light bulbs are illuminated. So here, the first one, there's one light bulb going, but the second one's not connected. If you build the circuit and for some reason some of the light bulbs are not lit up, or you don't see the electrons flowing through, then you probably did something wrong. And in terms of using the voltmeter or the amp meter, you basically just take it right off the screen, and you have to put the prongs. I show you different locations in the diagrams. You got to make sure that you get a reading. You'll never get a voltage of 0 if you go across any circuit that's actually flowing. So when you put the prongs on there, make sure that you're getting a number here. If these are interchanged, let's just say for example you flip the prongs around, you put positive on negative and negative on positive. Notice that the value doesn't change, it just changes from positive to negative 9 volts. In the answers, when you answer the questions, if for some reason you don't see a negative voltage on there, that's why. So don't think that I'm trying to confuse you by putting positive or negatives. There's only going to be one correct value. So if you get negative 9 volts or negative 3 volts or whatever it happens to be, just know that that's the same as positive. It just depends on where you put it. And then the amp meter that you guys use, it's basically got a selector for it, which you guys will kind of drop into place just like the voltmeter. But make sure you get a reading on it also, so that everything works out. For the most part, that's basically it. If you have any problems, the first thing I always tell people to check is to check the connections, because it's pretty common that when you put these together, you'll get a broken connection somewhere. So I'll just take this one apart for some reason. Like maybe I get a connection like this and I move, sometimes people see this and they think, oh, well, it's connected, I can see the wire's connected. Well, if electrons are not flowing through the wire, then it hasn't made a complete circuit. So here it's bypassing the one light bulb. So you got to make sure that the circles are connected. So as you move this around, make sure that they actually connect and everything works properly. So that's about the basics for it for now. I think you guys will find the rest intuitive as you go through it. So let me know if you got any questions and we'll go from there. Have a good week.